And here we go.
Hello, everybody.
Ilgar, I think it would be good to quickly give a bit of a background. You guys are new players on the whole scene of the derivative market, and I think people kind of want to know a little bit about you, a little bit about your background, and it's your presentation. You take it from there.
Yeah, absolutely. So I would suggest we wait a little bit more, a couple of minutes before we begin. It's officially in a little while. Let's take a look at chat, and then I'll just begin.
So you're in Moscow right now, is that right, or are you somewhere else?
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. Yes, we are.
So it's 6 a.m. over there, 6:30.
6:30. What is your time?
It's late 6:30 as well. So 6:30 out of Cyprus. Late night is actually early morning for some of us guys.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know which one. I don't know which one's more painful.
And for somebody who will be joining us from Singapore, it will be midday, I guess. Midday.
Wow, lovely.
So it's gonna be hot. Stay with us. My name is Ilga Alekperov, and I'm representing ZUBR here. It is a newly built exchange from scratch, having in mind professional players and understand integrity as well. I would like to speak about the financial industry connected to the cryptocurrencies and what has to be done to move the industry forward. We have developed the exchange. We have started our operation back in March after 2-year development cycle, made it very carefully. We are involved in a lot of talks between exchanges and are constantly in touch with each other, discussing how to attract institutional flow, what to do better. We see opportunities in developing this branch, institutional branch, rather than purely staying with the retail. What I want to show you in this slide is actually pretty simple. It's 4 digits after the dot. The very right column depicts timestamp of trades and has hundreds of microseconds displayed. None of the other exchanges have it by this time. Now API, it's actually 9 digits, nanosecond precision. You would ask me why it is important. It is actually important to meet your client's basic requirements, two most important of which are ultra-fast round-trip time and determinism. We have round-trip time at 60 microseconds for our collocated clients in the 99th percentile. We've done a lot of evaluations during our development cycle, which was pretty long. Unprecedented determinism, by which I mean 99th percentile, combined with the unprecedented speed. High-frequency institutional traders value this very much. To the right, you see a screenshot of one of our monitoring system that actually shows the internal latency of the core system critical path. This is all inside our exchange running on bare metal. Screenshot taken on the 1st of June. It's yesterday for us, maybe for somebody of you today. So you see, we have more than 2-fold capacity to stay within our 60 micros. What is the professional player also looking for? Safety of assets, fair market conditions, longer life of other market participants. All of the above makes the industry sustainable. What is currently happening? Breaches of the allegations and conditions I named, it's actually violate financial ethics, unfair rebates, ultra high leverage offerings, lack of proper infrastructure. Everything contributes to the postponement of what we really want, to the delay of the arrival of real big money in the industry. Bitcoin fundamentals are difficult for them to accept. Hidden rebates is something that that's happening, which contributes to fragmented and complicated real price discovery. High leverage during high volatility, is the usual offering which favor no our customers, guys. It turns real economic tool into worse than gambling due to the massive price swings of the Bitcoin. Next evident point is that financial institutions won't trust unregulated markets where liquidity now lies. One of the other building blocks of the arrival of the institution is the ETF. ETFs trade on stock exchanges and allow vast majority of investors to enter the market or the industry. And they are unlikely to be approved when majority of trading volumes happens on unregulated exchanges. And finally, the common practice for the industry is to avoid KYC and AML. Why? This position seems to apply to exchanges that attract mostly retail. The retail uses Bitcoin as money anonymously. If exchanges continue to serve small money, at small money will the industry remain, I guess. Hope I'm wrong here. So why ZUBR is different here? What do we do? What did we do? We are addressing all the issues previously described. First of all, we decided to go for regulation. We complied to the 9 principles stated on Gibraltar Financial Service Commission site and got our in-principle approval from the regulator. Well, actually 9 principles, I would guess I will read them right now. Yeah. We must conduct our business with honesty and integrity. We must pay due regard to the interests and needs of each and all of our customers. We must maintain adequate financial and non-financial resources. We must manage and control business effectively. We must have effective arrangements in place for the protection of clients' assets and money. We have to have effective corporate governance arrangements. We must ensure all systems access protocols are maintained to appropriate high standards. We must have systems in place to prevent, detect, and disclose financial crime risks, such as terrorist financing. Must be resilient and must develop contingency plans and know how to properly wind down the business if required. Not an easy list to implement. I have included a couple of links into the presentation if you are interested, but this is something that has to happen to change common practice in the industry. Not an easy list. Let us now speak about technicalities. Again, another change that also has to be done to slowly move towards the institutional flow. High frequency trading is a big reality. I actually saw the report of one of the major European exchanges on the impact of high frequency trading on trading and liquidity itself. The report found presence of HFT to be beneficial for market structure and all the participants. Bitcoin volatility and current liquidity definitely attract such algorithmic clients. Maybe not institutions we start with, but something in the middle, proprietary firms, not individuals, entities that already require something more resilient in terms of infrastructure than current offering is. Thus, the only thing left is that cryptocurrency exchanges must be able to match the requirements that real HFT implies. Everybody is speaking about being very fast, being the fastest, but I would guess nobody was in their career on the side of real HFT from classical world. We know what it is, and we know what are the requirements. This is what we achieved on ZUBR. We met those requirements spoken during the first part of the presentation. Massive diverging prices due to technical issues and unexpected downtime must not happen, as it's stated in here. The reputation is of high importance. We have to be transparent, cannot risk our reputation at all. When something bad happens first time, you're forgiven. When it repeats, you're forgotten. We have to prove that we are professionals. This is why ZUBR is here. And the next and final thing I would like to describe as bells and whistles to attract more retail instead of going for a harder money. Industry is now collecting easy money, retail, HFT, afterwards institutional are much harder to get. The main bell or whistle is the leverage, 50x, 100x, 101, 125, more, for whom we're doing this. Next comes all sorts of instruments. I understand futures on spot. I understand options on those futures. Of course, I understand spot itself. Other non-standard instruments and 3-digit leverage offerings are all a sophisticated trap for retail, for cannon fodder. They are unexperienced. Who will trade in our industry when retail is no longer a client after being burned within several months? This is why we decided to go for harder money and try to really move the industry forward without spoiling personal karma. We must look forward to gaining more HFT players, financial institutions afterwards. It's the evolution we see relevant to the industry in ZUBR right now.
Well, we've got a question. We've got a question right now from Christian, who says, how does ZUBR compare to existing derivative exchanges such as Durbit, CME Group? I imagine quite a few of the other panelists that will be in UK. So how you seem to be on a bit of a holy mission, saying that you want to move the industry forward. How does ZUBR do that, and how does it differ to everyone else?
Yes, definitely. Thanks for the question, Christian. Well, again, it's a hard way to take. It's a hard path to take. First of all, we need to combine several aspects. We need to combine operational aspect. We need to combine technical aspect in one to achieve our goal. Answering your question straightforward is we are somewhere in the middle between Deribit and CME. CME is a high institutional from classical world. It has its own traditions, its great matching engine, its own risk system. Deribit arrived, as far as I remember, 4 years ago, or even a little bit more, and they aimed at solving the issues that former crypto industry had. Again, bad execution. Deribit claimed that they made it better, and they did, and that's great. That's really great. And they actually are running on bare bone, on bare metal, That's what we do as well. But they.
I think you can explain that to some of our audience, that they're running on LD4, and so are you. You're also ZUBR's also running on LD4 in London and with co-location services.
That's crucial for this is crucial to bridge retail to institutional. We have to do infrastructure differently. So Deribit did it differently. They started not at LD4, but as far as I remember, somewhere in France, in Strasbourg, did it very well. That was a huge step for the industry because all of the others were in cloud by that time. And regulation is something that we do on top. And it's the next level of technical implementation, the quality of implementation that has not been done in the industry itself by this time. We have a matching engine running on latest hardware technology and developed using the latest system programming language from scratch. And again, well, from Deribit, we differ that we offer isolated margin and cross margin mode, as well as, you know who does? Well, I'll name BitMEX does. And from CME, we differ that we actually do this offering that is usual for crypto industry, that crypto industry is used to having.
Ilgar,
Yes.
sorry to interrupt you. On a client facing basis, I'm a client. I'm a potential prospective client. How and I go to Deribit and I go to ZUBR. What changes on a client facing way? Like you're both telling me you've got technical superiority. Yes. You're both telling me you've got LD4. You're telling me you're regulated.
Yes.
Deribit tried to go through a certain path, and I think earlier this year they went into Panama. So the two things that I'd like to ask actually is, one, on a client-facing level, how do I know that you guys are better than Deribit, or how do I know Deribit is not? And then the second one is, actually, let's just go with that one first, on a client-facing way.
Let me show again this one, full screen. An easy way to spot, an easy thing to spot is those, again, 4 digits. If you want something to like let's say take out from this presentation, is this column. We've done it differently on the API side and on the technical side. Something very important for our client, which in turn is a superset, is something not required by other types of client, because HFT is the most demanding type of client. You can, nobody else has higher requirements than HFT guys do. We did our platform to satisfy the most demanding customers. So everybody else will be satisfied definitely. Let's take a look at this graph. This is critical path inside our matching engine. It's the latency inside our critical path from production taken yesterday. We have, let's say on average, less than 16 microseconds to respond to the order you send to us. On top of this network latency, and you get your response within 99th percentile. It's 99% of all trading cases happening right now. This is different from Deribit. They have slightly higher latency responses and slightly different determinism profile, I believe. You could try it. We will be publishing some metrics on our site as well. But currently, what I'm able to share this.
What about during times of high volatility?
During,
I mean, June 1st was a normal trading day, but what happens when Bitcoin's going from $7,500 to $6,500?
Well, I remember
hours?
March 12th or 13th, depending on the time zone you were in, and everything crashed from I believe 8 to 300, the 3,000 and 3,200. We sustained it. No liquidations happened. It was an early start of our platform. We have, by that time, we had only very sophisticated, very careful clients, know how to trade, what they are dealing with. They didn't take large leverages at all. It's actually all below 1.5. So yeah, our platform sustained.
What leverage does ZUBR offer? Up to what?
On BTC USD, we offer 20x at most, and we believe that.
Why did you come up to that? How did you come up to that?
That's completely enough for all the arbitrage strategies that currently happen on the market. Something else, as something higher, is actually turning your position into gambling. You will at some point be liquidated, taking into consideration average volatility of Bitcoin. And let me get one step back. the difference here. Yeah, technical side is done on a better level than currently industry is used to have. That's what we did.
But you also went the regulation path, and can you explain why you went the regulation path in an industry that is, you know, very anti not anti, just it appreciates its privacy and its protection from you know, government. So why did you go the government route?
It's a step that has to be taken to attract more, I would say, not institutional. It will lead to institutional flow at some point, but currently entities, more entities from classical world, alumni, let's say, they have to trust you. If you are a newly arrived exchange, we have to build this trust. We decided that regulation will help us here. And we have some clients who already comply with it, very sophisticated ones. They know what they're doing. They know what the business is. If you take a look at the platform, well, the flow is constantly going and constantly growing. We also have a different fee structure in here.
Actually, you just hit the point where I wanted to come up to. What is the fee structure on ZUBR, and is it the same like everyone else? Because you just said that market rebates aren't good for the industry from your presentation, if I'm correct. So what is ZUBR doing exactly?
We're doing flat fees, guys, which is again different for the market. We're not doing any tiering. We just say everybody is equal. This will help to move price discovery, normal price discovery, towards our platform naturally. Once our client base grows more and more, while our client base grows more and more, we actually do have price discovery at our platform and will be gaining it. It will be more straightforward. I already seen an analysis where the major Bitcoin move was actually starting on ZUBR. And this is going to happen due to normal fee structure where everybody is equal. When we do like this, when something starts, when a movement starts at the venue, everybody is willing to continue this movement due to the equality in financial result after any action. If there is inequality, somebody with a preference would do a move before the majority of other clients who have no preference do this move. It's very important to understand. It's very difficult to understand. I'm trying to explain this with the most common terms that I can, taking into consideration, well, my experiences, and hopefully you get the intuition. When somebody trades with less expense, he can move before the others. That's an unfair privilege.
Do you think that's going to maybe work against you though? I mean, if all these other exchanges are offering rebates and they're unregulated and they're offering massive leverage, I understand the risks that you posed before. Aren't you starting your exchange at a disadvantage to try and better it? Like, why not leave this to someone else to make it better? Why are you taking this Olympic baton and saying I'm gonna move the industry forward with the ZUBR, even though
we believe we are on time and know what to do and how to do it. Price discovery is happening on ZUBR already. Once more and more clients will see this, Fadi, once more and more clients will see this, they will actually go to our API just to constantly look at our exchange and see what's happening. This will be the start. Afterwards, they will start trading because they will understand when others are responding to their orders within milliseconds. We're doing it within micros. So that's a natural way we're going to develop. It will just take some time.
Are there any other questions from our viewers to Ilgar and what's going on? I'm sure something will come up from our viewers in terms of the percentage of institutional volumes, or I know you said that they're not institutional volumes right now, but what do you see happening in terms of, at least on your platform, seeing as you said that you're not accepting retail, so you're accepting a middle ground between professional traders and entities. Then what's that growth path looking like, do you think? When do you think institutions will get comfortable? Will it take, my question's a little bit different. Will it take all the exchanges to effectively become regulated to see institutional money?
Fadi, please confirm if you could hear me well. I see some technical troubles, but I will answer because I've heard all your question.
Yeah, I can hear you.
That's nice.
I can hear you. We can't see you, but I can hear you at least.
All right, that's nice. It will take time for institution to come over. There is the need in infrastructural solution like we have. We are offering interconnection between all of the exchanges to each other, and when some players, a handful of players, arrive in the crypto industry that have the offering close to our, more and more arbitrage players, more and more HFT guys will arrive, bringing bigger entities to the industry, booming the trading volume. Booming the trading volume we have, the industry has. It's necessary to apply better technology to boom the trading volume and bringing it closer and closer to the classical world. Currently, what we have in derivatives is like 15 billion per day overall. It's very small to the classic when compared to classical world, but not only because more participants are there, but because also infrastructure is better in classical industry. If you can execute 10 times more trades in the same time interval, then 10 times more volume potentially you get once the clients are there. We're here for as long as necessary. Our client is coming to us, and the capacity of the platform is absolutely huge. So we will be growing this volume. The industry will become more and more attractive to institutional and bigger money once the volume is here. We've just started and it's around 2 M per day already.
I think we've got a question from Mike Finch.
Mike, yeah. Are we able to share how much capital ZUBR has raised? We do not disclose it by now. It's an expensive project that took 2 years, as you know, and millions of dollars. We did it properly. That's the answer.
I think it's one of those things that it's become so publicly disclosed and a point of pride in the crypto industry that it's unusual when a new player comes into the space with a bit of a boom like you guys seem to be doing, and hopefully our panel later on. With you, panel 2, exchanges, Durbit, BitMEX, OKX.
I'm excited.
And you will be definitely an interesting panel. But we are about to start panel 1, and we've got a lot of interesting people for that. So everyone should stay tuned, and we'll get to you guys. We'll get to you guys soon. We're also don't forget, we also have Bitfinex with you on that panel. So we've got basically all the major exchanges coming on panel 2. But for now, we're going to shift into panel 1, and if everyone slowly wants to join, that would be good. Thank you, Ilgar, for your presentation. Appreciate your time.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Thanks, everybody.